I think I may have just been continually smiling for the past 24 hours. Willie, me boy, finally runs right, and I am in debt to the people who let me know what was happening. I probably would have eventually figured it out, but there would have been some frustration flying around before I did. And I certainly would have mistakenly got another CDI to test. It's a lesson in a couple things. Confirmation bias for one. I think I know what that is, but generally I'm too proud to look things up. It's when you have an opinion, you've already formed an opinion, so you only listen to evidence that supports that opinion. I decided it was the CDI box, and I might have had blinders on to other evidence that was all around me. It's also a lesson that you should never trust people.
Except you should always trust people because they found the arcing.
Never trust a feller who just continually ejaculates nonsense out of their mouth without proving anything. Last night, we finally fixed Willie. It finally runs right. But that was at least the third time that I convincingly told you the carburetor's the problem. The sheared key is the problem. The CDI box is the problem. I was wrong. I know I'm just a feller here in the garage who says things like, well, what do I say things like?
Let's check the idle mixture screw.
Silly things. I say silly things. But it happens in all classes of people. It doesn't matter if they're wearing a suit. They trick you into thinking they're smart, but they don't know anything. They're all going to die soon.
Can we get to the meat of this?
Is there some?
I don't know.
Prove it.
Are you going to fix anything?
Right here. TV is fake and full of scoundrels. YouTube too, especially YouTube, and books. Prove it in front of me. And then I still won't believe you because you might not even exist.
Are any of you fellers still with us? Fellerettes? You check out.
At least I'm not trying to sell you something. I am not a shill. Never. I'm a man of integrity, honor, and long wind. This is the engine from the 76 TL250 that I'm not going to attempt to get running again. But I am curious if we could just unstick the motor. Give this piston a few friendly tappy taps. See if we can knock it down in that cylinder. If we can, I can take off the cylinder, see what the bottom end looks like, and salvage some parts. There's a little bit of money to be made on that engine. There's not a lot of money to be made in used motorcycle parts, but there's a measurable amount. I've got a stick, stick, and a hammer. Usually we do how many kicks? How many hits?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think... It feels like it's not going to come.
So infinity.
How about you? Well, you're not going to do infinity taps tonight because I will lose patience.
I'm going to say 7 because the Allman Brothers Band has a song called 7 Turns that was in my mind earlier today, and that might have been a sign.
These aren't turns, though. These are taps.
You got something there. What's the reciprocal of 7?
1/7.
17 then. Here we are, and I won't go over 20 for your sake. Nothing yet. Might have moved.
I think it did. Move your finger. Thank you. Right here, there's a crack.
6 or 5. Doesn't matter. I'll take this cover off and put a breaker bar on there, and we can try to turn it as we hit. I was almost right on the original 7.
Yeah, I was pretty far.
I have a bigger hammer somewhere, but would you believe I don't know where it is? Oh, I need to take these screws out. Okay, I got the breaker bar on here now, and I have a question to ask all of you that I'm a little bit afraid to hear the answer to. Would you rather I philosophize or try to sell you security systems or sunglasses? Natural male enhancement.
Razors.
How about you pull on this while I hit? A little bit of pressure downwards. And if it feels like it's wanting to go the other way, turn it the other way, because I don't know what side of the crankshaft the rod is on right now.
Okay.
Ready?
Sure.
Can you tell?
It's not moving. Yeah, keep going. Oh,
Did it move a little more?
I thought it did.
You might have just been tightening the bolt.
Oh, great.
I'll just take this off and hit it a few more times. If it doesn't move after a couple more hits, I'll re-soak it in oil and revisit this later.
I was thinking it doesn't really matter if they don't like to hear you philosophize or they would like you to be a shill, because you'll never be a shill. And I don't think you can help but ramble on.
I got it. Whoa, that was obvious.
There you go.
I got it to break free.
Oh my, you've been ready for this
I
moment.
got it to break free. Put a little more lubrication in here now that we are in a region of the cylinder that has not been exposed or slid upon for a while. Go a little more now. It should be easy. Can you get a little bit closer? I don't think it will splatter on you.
Except it's splattering.
I think it's loose enough now we can turn it. Oh, easy. I'm hopeless. Just seeing the piston move up and down makes me want to get the engine running again.
Well, no one's going to stop you. Like to see him try.
I feel like the cam chain might be binding up down there. So I'll fish that out, and then we'll try to get a full revolution out of this motor. That will be our goal. On second thought, I'm not going to attempt turning the engine all the way around. There's no reason to force the piston through this nastiness. Cylinder down here is smooth though. That's a victory. Somebody might be able to salvage this. If they could find an oversized piston, bore it out to match, could still be some value here. I have an experiment I'd like to start tonight. This is a piece of fuel line that was on the TL250 from 1976. It was actually a crankcase breather line. But it's still soft, still flexible. After about 50 years, and it made me think of this fuel line that I bought from Amazon for the Trail 125. I used some of it already. Within a couple of months, this stuff seemed to turn hard and less flexible than it is now. So I'm going to cut a piece of this and cut a piece of this, dump them in some gasoline, leave them in there to pickle for maybe a month. It's fuel line, it should be able to handle that, right? Mm-hmm. And see if this one still has any of the characteristics it should.
How you tell them apart?
The old one has a thicker sidewall.
Okay, well, we would like to know that.
For science.
Yes.
And it's just gas.
Letting them smell?
Yeah. And we'll just leave that for a little while. I'll date it. What's the date today?
Is it the 29th? Friday?
There we are. Revisit that in a month. If you're interested in watching yesterday's video, I'll put a link to that up on the screen. And if you'd like to see what we get up to tomorrow, I'll put a link to that video on the screen as well, as soon as it's available. Thanks for watching.
I didn't think you'd get that tonight.